Good evening. Day 37, 75 hard. Yeah, today it was tough. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night, but I managed to have a pretty good recovery kind of a day. That's where I'm gonna put it. I did get a good push on my second workout. I really took it easy on my first one, and I worked today another 12-hour shift. I worked my regular hours today, and as part of that, I do get that 1 hour fit break. So I did take advantage of that and utilize it to get my second workout in, which made getting home and only having to take my greens and reds and a little bit of level 1 so much easier. And then I just jumped in the shower, took the dog out, and now he's gonna get his last meal of the day, and that'll be that. Even did my reading at work, which was awesome. I had a little time there where I was just keeping an eye on something, and it allowed me kind of a little bit of downtime to do some reading. So I managed to get my 10 pages in, and again, not much memorable from it. I'm still trying to find those little tidbits that just stand out, and they're few and far between. Some of the chapters have seem to have a bunch of substance, and then a lot of them are just kind of like, hey, we wanted to have some extras. We wanted to make sure we had 32 rather than just combining some of them. It actually reminds me of another book that I think I may break back out because I haven't finished it, called The Attributes. And the reason it reminded me of that is because the guy that wrote it, in kind of the opening chapters, one of the things he talks about is that, a lot of times we take larger or smaller concepts that really together make up a whole concept, and we take those smaller ones and those we present as the main point, to make it look like we have more stuff to say, when in reality you might have one over encompassing kind of rule or kind of concept, and then within that you might have 5 kind of supporting concepts that any combination of them could lead to, geez, I keep dropping this thing, could lead to the major concept. So maybe not one of them by themselves, but a combination. So in the attributes, I know one of the things he does is grit, and so I can't remember the things below grit, but I believe one of them is kind of like discipline, mental toughness. Like, they're not the same thing, but together they make grit, kind of thing. I don't know if that's exactly right. Like I said, I need to read that again because I only made it about halfway through before I ended up stopping. So, but I did enjoy it up until that point. And that's what I think the 32 principles, I really don't think they're all principles. I think, honestly, they are more like sub-principles, a lot of them. And, maybe there's 1 or 2 that are like the main points, or, even if you broke it down to 4. So that's kind of where I am at with it. I feel like they kind of took some of these little sub kind of things and were like, hey, this is a major thing, and it's really not so much a standalone kind of thing. And I think sometimes they push a little bit on the example. Like, oh, this is the example, and then you read it and you're having a hard time finding the example in, or finding the principle in the example. So that's just my take on it so far. A little bit more than halfway through now. Kind of, yeah. I mean, not much to today. Not much to today. It just kind of went by. I think mostly just because it was primarily recovery and a lot of work. When I'm at work, I'm going from one thing to the next, or I'm posted somewhere, or doing something else. So it's I'm never really all that static. Sometimes I am, but a lot of times we don't have that option of being just static and not really doing anything and being able to focus. One thing I did kind of discover today was that something I feel like I'm missing, and I've been trying to kind of having this nagging inside, like something in here has been like, hey, you need to do, but it's like not a complete thought until today. And I was reading an email through something that I've been following for years, and posted a quote about meditation and about creating time to where your mind is quiet, and where the environment around you is quiet, where there's no distractions, and you can just listen to your own head and sift through the noise that's in your head to find clarity and find that place where you're in emptiness, which it's a concept that goes back a long way. I know Musashi talks about it. It's actually part of one of my favorite fantasy novels, the Wheel of Time series, which Amazon did a shit job with that. Because one of the best parts in that is they talk about swordsmen and fighters going into something he refers to as the void, which is it's just an emptiness in which you are one with everything around you, and that kind of mirrors the samurai Zen states. And but the cool thing about like Gung Fu and the Japanese culture with Zen is that concept stems to everything, not just fighting. Like they find that emptiness within calligraphy or painting or making pottery or pouring tea. So all these things, even writing poetry or pruning plants, like in Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi, when he's pruning the bonsai, that's something that he's actually doing, is he's practicing the art of emptiness. So it's kind of cool. It's a neat concept, and it is something that I want to practice more. I do what I usually call the psycho mile when I run, which is just something that I got off the internet, to be honest. It's I guess somebody was talking about driving around in silence, and I do that sometimes too. But they were like, we know who you are, psychos that drive around. And speaking of people that drive around in silence, and so I was like, and I do like to do that sometimes. And then I heard a podcast with Andy Frisell and Will Grumke, and they were talking about actually doing workouts with no music and nothing but what's in your head. And I was like, I'm gonna try that. I wanted to try that. I don't do it every day, but I do try to at least a couple times a week right now get in at least a mile with nothing but me and the noise inside. Trying to find that just empty space where it's just clear and calm. And the cool thing is, apparently, I think I've been in it once or twice, but once you get into it, then it's like a clean lens when you're looking out into the world and into the things you want and the things that you need to do to get what you want. So, just a thought, but something that I want to start practicing more is finding stillness or finding an emptiness and just being within it. That's kind of, that's it for today. So thank you, as always. I truly appreciate anybody who watches these, and I'm glad you're here. And if you are finding some sort of value from any of this and any of these ramblings on whatever it is that I talk about, please share it. Put a comment. Give me a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna keep making these throughout 75 Hard. I've already made a few other ones that there's one that's actually up already, but I've made a couple other ones that I want to do I want to practice editing. So I'm going to utilize those to edit. But the 75 Hard ones, they're just kind of stream of consciousness, what's coming to my head at the time. So again, thank you, and I'll make sure I put my links in the description in case anybody's interested in checking out some of the First Form products that are out there. Like I said, level 1, really, really helpful hitting my protein goals. And then for recovery, the Formula 1 Ignition, that's what I normally would say is for me, if you're trying to hit a protein goal, those are your biggest ads. If you're just looking for general health, they're reds and greens and magnesium. It's a great way to end your night and before you go to bed. It helps promote recovery, but it also gets in all those nutrients that you might have missed out just through your daily meals. And then Full Mega. Full Mega is the other one. I've actually started doubling up on those. So I take one in the morning, one in the evening. And the reason being is just because I'm adding weight with my ruck. So now that I'm up to 30 pounds, I want to make sure I'm protecting my knees at 44. I'm not old, but I am older than I was in my 30s. So I know my joints need more help recovering. And so Full Mega is a great way to do that. It answers that need, along with tons of other benefits. But for me, that is the one that I am most focused on right now, is getting that in. So anyways, to finish up, thank you. So I am truly grateful and humbled that anyone has viewed these. So you are appreciated, and the videos are going to keep coming. So hopefully they will get better, and I'll have more solid information to share. So anyways, that's it for tonight. Have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow on day 38.